In a stunning and unexpected move, the Trump administration has officially ended the special waiver that previously allowed India to develop Iran's Chabahar port without the threat of US sanctions looming overhead. This abrupt decision, announced on September 19, 2025, marks a dramatic reversal of years of growing India-US cooperation, and now puts India's regional ambitions and strategic investments at significant risk. The waiver had been crucial for India's access to Afghanistan and Central Asia, providing a vital route that bypassed Pakistan and helped reshape regional trade and connectivity. Now, with the waiver gone, any entity involved with Chabahar faces the full force of US sanctions, putting Indian companies, officials, and even international partners in immediate jeopardy. For India, this isn't just a diplomatic setback. It's a direct challenge to its vision of becoming a global power and a leader in regional connectivity. The move sends a clear message that even strategic projects with key partners are not immune to Washington's relentless pressure campaign against Iran, regardless of their broader geopolitical significance. India is now left scrambling to protect a project that is vital to its long-term interests, as its strategic autonomy is squeezed by the intensifying rivalry between global powers and shifting alliances. The aftershocks of this decision will ripple across the region for years to come, affecting not just India and Iran, but the entire balance of power and trade in South and Central Asia. Chabahar isn't just a port, it represents a strategic vision for India. It's India's answer to decades of being boxed in by geography and politics, a bold move to redefine its regional influence. By investing hundreds of millions in Chabahar, India has created a direct route to Afghanistan and Central Asia, bypassing Pakistan entirely, thus opening new avenues for trade and diplomacy. The port has become a symbol of India's ambition, already delivering wheat and aid to Afghanistan and promising a new era of regional trade and cooperation. However, US sanctions now threaten to unravel this vision, forcing Indian companies to choose between years of investment and risking US blacklists, a dilemma with no easy answers. The next phase, a railway to Afghanistan, hangs in the balance, stalling India's plans for a seamless trade corridor that could transform regional dynamics. Without Chabahar, India's influence in the region shrinks, and its ability to offer an alternative to rival powers fades, leaving a void in its strategic ambitions. The dream of an integrated South and Central Asian trade zone, with India at its heart, faces a formidable obstacle, challenging the very core of India's regional aspirations. India's grand strategy is suddenly on life support, as leaders scramble to find solutions to keep the vision alive amidst growing challenges. Just down the coast from Chabahar lies Gwadar, Pakistan's deep-water port built with massive Chinese investment. This strategic outpost is not just a commercial hub, but a symbol of China's growing ambitions in the region and a testament to its willingness to reshape the geopolitical landscape. Gwadar is a key node in Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative, serving as a vital link in China's grand plan to connect Asia, Africa, and Europe through a network of ports, railways, and highways. The port gives China direct access to the Arabian Sea, bypassing traditional choke points and strengthening its energy security. For India, Chabahar was meant to be the answer to China's expanding footprint, a counterweight to Gwadar, and a bold statement of India's intent to play a larger role in regional trade and connectivity. The port was envisioned as a gateway for India to access Afghanistan and Central Asia, bypassing Pakistan entirely. But with US sanctions stalling progress at Chabahar, China's influence surges almost by default, tilting the regional balance in Beijing's favor and leaving India's ambitions in limbo. This shift undermines India's efforts to offer a democratic, transparent alternative to China's state-led, top-down development model, which many countries in the region are now gravitating towards due to its speed and scale. Ironically, Washington's pressure on Iran, intended to isolate Tehran, ends up handing China a strategic win. Indian policymakers, who once saw Chabahar as aligned with US interests, now find themselves sidelined and frustrated by the unintended consequences. The Indo-Pacific strategy, built on the promise of robust US-India cooperation, now looks increasingly shaky as India's leverage and credibility in the region erode, raising questions about the future of this partnership. Without a fully operational Chabahar, India's ability to compete for influence and economic opportunities in Afghanistan and Central Asia is severely crippled, limiting its reach and strategic options. Meanwhile, China's deep pockets, relentless investment, and long-term vision could easily fill the vacuum, extending its dominance across the region and shaping the future of trade and politics. In the end, the region's future may be shaped more by Beijing's strategic calculations than by the ambitions of New Delhi or even Washington, as the balance of power continues to shift. For Afghanistan, Chabahar was a lifeline, its only reliable route for aid and trade that didn't depend on Pakistan. India used the port to deliver food and supplies, supporting Afghan reconstruction and stability. The US originally granted the waiver to help Afghanistan, recognizing the port's humanitarian value. Now, with the waiver gone, aid and development projects face huge hurdles, threatening years of progress. The disruption could worsen Afghanistan's fragile situation, just as the country faces an uncertain future. India's ability to help Afghanistan is severely constrained, risking goodwill and stability. The move risks alienating Afghans, who may see US policy as prioritizing its Iran rivalry over their needs. For a nation in need, the closure of this gateway is a devastating blow. India now faces a diplomatic nightmare, balancing ties with the US, Iran, and Afghanistan all at once. Angering Washington could jeopardize defense and tech cooperation, but abandoning Chabahar means betraying Iran and losing a vital regional foothold. Afghanistan, caught in the middle, relies on Indian aid and US security support. If India withdraws, it leaves a vacuum for less friendly actors to fill. New Delhi's challenge: navigate these competing pressures without damaging any vital relationship. Indian diplomats must convince Washington of Chabahar's strategic value, while reassuring Tehran and Kabul of India's commitment. Every move is fraught with risk, and a misstep could trigger a diplomatic crisis. The Chabahar dilemma is the ultimate test of Indian statecraft. India's next steps will define its role as a regional power. From Washington's perspective, the Chabahar waiver had become a loophole in its maximum pressure campaign against Iran. US officials argue that any economic activity benefiting Iran, even indirectly, could fund destabilizing activities. With changing conditions in Afghanistan, some in Washington see less need for an India-led supply route. The Trump administration's transactional approach prioritizes crippling Iran, even at the cost of straining ties with India. This unpredictability makes it hard for allies to plan long-term strategies. The decision sends a chilling message. Even humanitarian or strategic projects aren't safe from US sanctions. The ripple effects will deter others from engaging with Iran, reinforcing US leverage, but also regional instability. Instead of fostering cooperation, the move deepens divisions and uncertainty. With Chabahar's future in limbo, India faces tough choices. First, New Delhi will push hard in Washington, arguing that Chabahar serves mutual interests and regional stability. If diplomacy fails, India must choose, defy the US and risk sanctions, comply and sacrifice a key interest, or slow walk the project and wait for a better climate. Each path carries costs: strategic, economic, and diplomatic. The port may survive, but as a shadow of what India envisioned. The Chabahar saga is a lesson in the harsh realities of global power politics. For India, the test is not just about a port, but about its ability to navigate a world where great power ambitions collide. The outcome will shape India's place on the world stage.